I was going to share some information with you today about how we share resources in support of WaveNet for two different types of activities that we perform for NLR, the network operations area and the area of deployment. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of a comparison in how we kind of do things and some of the ways that it really works well for us and some of the ways that we are going to work towards improving it, and then just a simple comparison of my experience in working with other telco providers in areas of deployment and network operations. So first, let me just do a brief introduction and a little bit of background just so you understand a little bit more about kind of the perspective that I'm sharing from. So as Grover mentioned, I manage the Layer 1 NOC services for NLR. And I manage a group of network engineers at Scenic, 19 network engineers total. And in combination with those 19 are 5 senior network engineers. It's a separate group from what we have in our Layer 1 NOC. And they're actually the Layer 1 NOC is a group of engineers all at the same level. We don't have a level 1, level 2, or a help desk and escalate, anything like that. All the support comes from the same group. Everybody works at the same level. And they're on site 24/7, and everybody works. We have 3 different shifts going. So the 5 senior engineers there, that would be the group that Chris Costa works in. Most of you guys probably know Chris Costa, or at least tolerate him anyways. And no, I'm just kidding. If you've ever worked with Chris, you know that he's like really easy to work with, and he just likes to get stuff done. So it's a really good thing. And but we have another one of our newer senior engineers here, and that's Steve Dahlberg. He's sitting behind Chris, and I don't know if you had a chance to meet him, but much like Chris, he's really easy to work with and really just likes to get things done. And so we really are looking forward to kind of bringing him more into the day-to-day activities of Layer 1 network support. And so I'm glad that he could come. So just ideas about, the different, we say Layer 1 NOC, and I just wanted to point out that there are more services that we provide, and it is kind of the background of the information I'm sharing today. And about 300 network elements, that's what we support, about 200 active Layer 1 services. And we really like the recent WaveNet availability numbers. So I mean, the numbers are really great, but for us, it's really a transition period because a couple of years ago, when they weren't so good, we were really kind of in a mode of replacing hardware that we didn't have a lot of control over. And so availability numbers were just really difficult to try to get motivated behind. And now that we're really working with technology that's stabilized, and we're able to spend time on more interesting pieces of supporting that technology, it's a different sort of feeling for us to work through outages or deploy services and know that what we're doing is more directly reflected in the availability numbers that we get to share for WaveNet. So it's kind of a good time. Okay, so what are the shared resources? So I don't have all of them here, but I have them basically in 4 categories, and the 4 categories don't include budget and money, just for senior managers that keep an eye on all that stuff. So just time and tools. When we're working through deploying or supporting WaveNet services, we're constantly keeping track of the time and the time availability what are our delivery dates? You know, what is the customer asking for? If somebody is saying we need to expedite this deployment, we're okay. I guess that means do it faster than the last one. So we're constantly working through schedules and everything related to managing time and getting the network supported, plus bringing up new services in parallel. And there's a lot of, it's certainly not the layer 1 NOC that does all this. This is a combination of efforts that you've heard about in the last couple of days between the ESS and senior engineers and Ron and Grover and everybody just pulling together to make these things happen. And then the tools, we share our tools for both deployment and network support. And so the database is a great tool, and we use it for both areas. It works fine. The ticketing system and the vendor portal, same sort of thing. We use it for outages and getting services restored, and we also use it for deployment activities. And same goes for the rest of the items there. Other 2 categories are shared resources. Of course, there's human resources and all of the NLR technical support teams that I was just mentioning, the network engineers included in there. And then, of course, we are doing a great deal of management of our vendors, and they really are an extension of the network services that we can provide. So we spend a lot of time trying to work with them, understand their processes, their time frames, and how to utilize their services in terms of support during outage and deployments, and so both of those things. And then the last thing there is process. So we have some processes that we kind of use for both areas and activities that we're doing for deployments and for network support, and it works pretty well. But it's, again, another area of transition for us where I think we're really just getting in the mode of developing things, posting them, socializing them, and it's become more of a routine thing for our support teams and everybody involved in supporting the network. So this is just my experience in how other telcos manage their the different activities for their networks. So they're certainly separated from what I can tell. I've never worked in one of them, so I don't really know. But design and provisioning, deployment, service delivery, these are all separate groups that basically hand things off to each other, and if there's any overlap or additional exchange of information, by the time it gets to the technical support group who's supporting your services during an outage, well, you really just can't tell. My experience with, I'd say, so the last time we ordered a 10 gig circuit from a telco, I don't know, it might have been 2 months, 3 months. I have no idea what all of the things were, or the reasons behind the scenes that it took so darn long. But I do know that we can turn up a 10 gig circuit from East Coast to West Coast in a matter of weeks. So I think that the way we share and exchange information is probably better than most other organizations. And that's just kind of an idea of where we do overlap in the things that we do. And there is some separation, and we practice it, and we put a lot of effort into trying to just remain consistent in wearing our different hats of what sort of deployment activities are happening and who's supporting that versus what sort of outages might be happening and who's focusing on that. And I think it's a healthy way to work, and it's efficient. And there's a few areas to improve, but for the most part, it, I think, blows the telco type inefficient sort of organization of people out of the water. So.